Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna kullu Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. In the name of the Almighty God, most gracious and most merciful, all praise is due to the Almighty God, the beneficent and the merciful. We give praise and thanks to God for bringing us together and for helping us to worship in spirit and in truth. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, those who are here, those who are looking, those who are watching, with the greetings of peace. To my Christian brothers and sisters, peace be unto you. To my Hindu brothers and sisters, namaste. To my Rastafarian brothers and sisters, Jah peace and Jah love. And to my Muslim brothers and sisters and all other denominations, I greet you with the greetings of peace in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to extend our wishes to our Hindu brothers and sisters who are now in the process of celebrating Navrat, their 9 days of Navrat, and it's right in between our Islamic ritual of Ramadan. So we just had Lent, and now Navrat, and then Ramadan. All three of the religions represented that we live under in this particular country. And it shows you how close together. And all is dealing with fasting, praying, learning to restrain oneself, and being able to communicate and get to know one another. The Quran says, we have created you as different nations and different tribes so that you may know one another. One of the problems that we have in this country, there is hardly any effort in this country in helping us to know one another. What happens here, as we have experienced it, is not getting to know one another, is getting to discriminate against one another. That's what we experience here. And it's even worse now with the so-called COVID-19, that we are not only not getting to know one another, but we're distancing ourselves from one another. So it's even worse now. We already have the problem of not getting to know one another through racial conflicts, through political corruption and political misdemeanors and political discrimination that is used to separate us as nations of people. But on the other side, that is not enough. On the other side now, we have to distance ourselves. It's a very tiresome process, brothers and sisters, having to wear a mask, having to sanitize yourself all the time, having to distance yourself, and having to deal with racial discrimination as well. The situation that we find ourselves under is very psychologically stressing and stressful. And during this month of Ramadan, for those of you who are not aware of what the Ramadan process is, it's a process of fasting and praying. And it is indicative of what the Prophet of Islam did. You see, when you're a prophet or when you're a leader, there's so many things that happen. Prophet Muhammad was of African descent. And there's a part in the Quran where Allah says to tell us, told the Prophet to tell us, beware and behold of your colors and your cultures. And who is better at coloring but Almighty God? You know, for God to release a verse like that for the Prophet to tell us, behold your colors and your colors and your cultures. So the Prophet Muhammad was of a color and a culture that was indicative of his parents. His mother was a black African woman and his father was an Arab. And so we have the mixture, and all these places belonged to Africa at the same time. So his leadership was always questioned. He was persecuted. He was discriminated against. But because of his faith and his strength, he was able to stand up to the racists, which are still there up until now, to stand up to the discriminating forces and those who felt that he was not capable enough to lead. The Prophet had to fight 65 wars. 65 wars. You see, all gods, all the people who have come to bring the message of God, that's the situation that they find themselves in. Moses, Abraham, David, Solomon, Joshua, Jesus, Muhammad. And as the Christians have told us, Jesus was crucified. Why are these people always being treated like that? Men and women who have brought the messages of God. Why are they treated like that? They are treated like that because they are not afraid to speak the truth. And when they speak the truth, that's the problems. Muhammad had to run away from where he lived with some of his followers, and he went to Ethiopia. And Ethiopia had a black emperor, a Christian emperor, black Christian emperor, who took him in, he and his followers, and looked after them until such time that they could have returned to their homeland to continue their struggle. So it was a man who had to struggle. He had to struggle because of his ideologies, he had to struggle because of his color, and he had to struggle also because he had more than one wife. Muhammad had 9 wives. And you see, again, that's another situation whereby we find that, you know, at his time of life, having so many wives caused quite a lot of jealousy, quite a lot of envy, especially from among those who figured that they were rich enough and powerful enough to oppress those who are dependent upon them. But anyway, this story goes on, and it would take hours for me to stand up here and tell you about it, but what he did is during his persecution, while he was being persecuted and being called a madman, that's the same thing they did with Jesus. They call him a madman. He's no good. Listen to what he's preaching. They call Muhammad the same thing. Look, he's a madman. And they threatened to kill him. That's why he had to run away. And all he was doing is carrying the message that he was inspired to carry. So he went into the cave. And he went into a cave where he could sit and meditate. Because you know, when we are in problems and we look around and there is no help and we can't find any answers, it is good for us to go in our little corners and sit and meditate and talk to our Creator, for we know that is the only one that is willing to help. So he was very confused because of all these problems that was happening to him, and he went into the cave and he meditated in that cave, and it was 1 month of meditation, and so we have the month of Ramadan. You see, it is said that the Prophet Muhammad couldn't read and write. And it's very strange, because the first thing that happened to him in the cave is that the angel Gabriel approached him and said to him, showed him a paper and said to him, read. You see, what happens in many of our religions is that it is expected of us that we should follow the rituals and the tradition that has been handed down through our religions to us, and find no fault and find no change. Something that is expected of us. From the time we start questioning things, then all kinds of names are put into us. Jesus was called a wine bibber and a crazy person, a man who sits with harlots and thieves and drunkards. And you know, when that was said of him, he said, well, those are the people that need me. You all don't need me. Those are you who talking about me, you don't need me. The people I sit with and the people I commune with, those are the people who need me. And strangely enough, when he went into the cave to meditate for the month, he was not a prophet. When he came out with all the prophecies and all the ideas and all the inspiration that God gave him. And so it shows us, brothers and sisters, that especially, not only in this month of Ramadan, but it shows us that when we are having problems, when we need to make decisions, when we need to understand what's happening with our lives, when we see things going in a direction that is not complacent with what we believe and what we expect, then we have to separate ourselves so that we can speak to our God, regardless of what you want and how you want to speak, but that we must get a corner or get away somewhere where we can have time to communicate with God, so that we will receive the inspirations that we need to receive as the Prophet Muhammad had received it. Because we are all entitled to answers from God. Whenever we ask God for anything, we are entitled to get it. See, something that a lot of our religious orders do not agree with. You know, the Christians say you have to go through Jesus Christ to get what you want. The Muslim says that you have to go through the teachings of Muhammad to get what you want. But you see, these people were all people that came to give us the message and give us an indication of what we should do with our lives. Our lives as men will not be the same as the life of Jesus or of Moses or of Muhammad. We have all our individual lives. But what they say is that the guidance is what these prophets came to give us, so that we may be rightly guided. Naturally, our position in life, our aims in life are not the same, but the guidance can help us to go through and follow through with all that we need to know, and the wisdom that we need to gain in order to keep our lives going, the lives of our families, our friends, our brothers and sisters, and so on. But the fact that Allah has said to the Prophet, behold your colors, and tell the people, Muhammad, behold your colors and your cultures, and who is better at coloring than Almighty God? And it shows that since then, In those days, there was strong discrimination. When Jesus was captured, Pontius Pilate said to him, he says, am I a Jew? He says, it's your people. You see the discrimination? He says, your people are the one who brought you to me. What you expect? So there has been always discrimination, and you know, may I take the opportunity to say that we can expect that there will always be discrimination. And we must understand, for example, look at this mosque. This mosque is 32 years old. And the mainstream Islamic organizations have never been here in 32 years. Now, ask yourself why. It has to be a case of discrimination. I heard something on the radio or the TV, it was, where it was being spoken about COVID-19, because those of you who are wearing your mask and sanitizing your hands and distancing yourself from your friends and your families, that's quite all right. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I am not doing it because I have no reason to do it. I do not know what the source is. I do not know what is COVID-19. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what the source is. I don't know what the vaccine is. I don't know what are the side effects of the vaccine, so I'm not taking it. And I am not dressing up in a mask because I don't know what it is. If I knew what it was, and I knew that it gives me cause, because I've asked, you know, and it's all over. If you check, brothers and sisters, you'll find out that in the history of this planet, there has never been so much opposition to a vaccine or to COVID-19 or a flu as it is now. The opposition, people who know the truth, people who knows what this thing is and are not telling us what it is, but telling us to take a vaccine. And I haven't heard anybody yet outside myself that is warning my brothers and sisters, those who do not want to listen, okay, no problem, go ahead and do it. But the people of African descent, I'm speaking to you as well, and I'm speaking intimately to you, because it's my duty if I find out something to warn you about it. And we are looking at a situation whereby if I take the vaccine, I still have to wear the mask. If I sanitize my hands, I still have to wear the mask. And if I take the vaccine, I still have to distance myself. So I don't have any use for the vaccine if I still have to do all those things. And then when try and find out why have we still got to do it, they say because even though you get the vaccine, you still can contract the virus. Now what sense is it making, brothers and sisters, for me to get myself involved in something that might not be the reason? If it is not a virus, then a mask is not necessary. Sanitizing is not necessary if it is not a virus. They are saying it is a virus, but they're not being able to prove that it's a virus. That's the problem. There is no proof that this is a virus, or all we know that it is a weapon that is killing people. We are saying it's a chemical weapon of mass destruction that is being used among the so-called superpowers, and we are feeling the pain and the rigidity and the death of all of this. And until now, they have not been able to bring about a truthful explanation as to what is killing people. What is it? All we are, you know, all different kinds of stories. But what we want to know is, what is it? What are we? What is killing us? What is killing our friends? What is killing our parents and our aunts and uncles and, you know, our brothers and sisters? What is it? You're not telling me what it is, but you tell me wear a mask. You tell me sanitize myself, and you tell me to distance myself from my friends and my families. I heard a discussion whereby it was said, it was said, we, the Muslims, the representative of the Islamic community, the representative of the Christian community, and the representative of the Hindu community has said that they are in agreement with the wearing of masks and sanitizing and distancing. What my question is, who is the representative and who is representing the Islamic community? For I've never seen them in this mosque. Those who are supposed to be representing and speaking on behalf of the Muslims, who is it? Who are they? They have never been here. I don't know them. They have never introduced themselves to me, so they're not speaking for me. Who is the representative of the Christian community that is saying that on behalf of the Christian community they are? Who is it? Is this person representing the spiritual churches that use the Bible? Are they representing the Rastafarians that use the Bible? Are they representing the Assemblies of God and the Baptists and the Seventh-day Adventists and the Jehovah's Witness? Are they this so-called representative of the Christian? And then who is representing the Hindus? Who is the representative of the Hindus that can bring that concept together, that the Christian, the Hindu, and the Muslim have decided, according to the representatives of these different religions, that it is right to wear the mask and sanitize ourselves and distance ourselves? Who are these representatives that took it upon themselves to speak for people who don't even know them?
Man create his own monster, weapons of damnation and disaster, no sign at all of human rights. Today has turned into night. Is racialism so, and segregation so? Which way is left to go? I don't know. Oh Lord, tell me, what about love thy neighbor? Tell me, what about he ain't heavy, he's my brother? Nobody cares a damn anymore. All they got on their mind is war.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, you know, it is very important at this point in time to understand that we live in a society, and we live in a world now that is so different to the one our parents used to live in. There are so many questions that are not being answered. You know the story of Noah. They say Noah built an ark, and Noah, in this ark, Noah put 2 of everything on the earth in the ark. Now, brothers and sisters, you know how big that ark got to be. But we grew up hearing that Noah built an ark, that he put 2 of every living thing in this ark. For what reason we were told that, and we believed it, and people up to today, it is still being preached. But to get back to the representatives, all of a sudden, the Muslims, the Hindus, and the Christians are represented at a forum that we don't even know about, and then it is said that they are in support of the wearing of masks, sanitizing and distancing? Well, they have to be in support because they are distancing themselves in their churches, in their mosques, in their ashrams, in the places where God's word is supposed to be preached, and the place where we are supposed to congregate in order to hear about Almighty God. In these places, they have distanced themselves as leaders and heads of these different religions. Here, we are not distancing ourselves. Our people can come, our congregation, sit with us, pray with us, because we know that COVID-19 is not from God. And once we know that it's not from God, God will protect us. And we go further to say that regardless of how great a congregation is, once they are congregated in the name of God, there is no COVID that can interfere with them. So basically, brothers and sisters, without me being critical, it basically is that we follow these rules and regulations, one, because we are a third world. You know, they say that we are a third world. God made one world, we have three worlds. Man made three worlds. First, second, and third world, and we are a third world. And we are supposed to do what the first world says. So we have to wear the mask, we have to sanitize, and we have to distance. It's not necessarily coming from the government of the day, but they have to dance to the tune and the music that the first world says, because we are a third world, and they accept the fact that we are a third world. You find that in all the so-called third world countries, the leaders accept it. They say it, they speak it, internationally they say it to their people. We are a third world nation. That's what you're saying, but don't say it to me, you know, because I don't feel that we are a third world nation. There's nothing third about us. And the riches that God has given us, the wealth, the resources that God has given us, makes me know as a believer in God that I am not poor. We are not a poor country. And we have to start looking at ourselves in that light, or else we will be made to do and behave in the way that others would like us to behave, and we have nothing to gain from it. You're giving me a vaccine, and you're telling me that I have to still wear the mask, I have to still sanitize, and I still have to distance. Why are you giving it to me then? 2 of the vaccines have been taken off the shelves because it has caused multiple deaths, blood clots and so on, multiple deaths. And you still expect me to take it? You see, it's being forced upon us, brothers and sisters. It's being forced upon us. And when you find that there is a disease, an evil disease like COVID-19, and you find that people are just dying from this terrible disease, and you have to come up with 10 different vaccines. It's not one vaccine, 10 different vaccines to fight one disease. It shows me that you're not sure of what you're doing. And if you're not sure of what you're doing, you can't expect me to join in that masquerade with you. And there are others like myself. I am not alone in this. There are thousands of doctors and scientists that are warning us to keep away. And we are seeing it. Day before yesterday, there was a nurse in Linden who took the vaccine. And yesterday she died. So we're not talking about things that are not happening. There are things that are happening. If the necessity was shown to me with the proof of what I'm up against, and that I have to wear a mask, and I have to sanitize myself, and I have to distance myself, I would never argue about it. But I'm not shown anything, and I'm expected to behave how you want me to behave in the way that you want me to behave, and I must shut up. Well, Jesus didn't behave like that, and he was crucified. Prophet Muhammad never behaved like that. Moses and Abraham, David and Solomon, they never behaved like that. They stuck steadfastly on what God inspired them to do. And there is no way, like I said, that any of these prophets that I have named, plus more, that they would be here today and you will get them to wear a mask and sanitize themselves and to distance themselves and to take vaccines that they know nothing about and that they have no knowledge and wisdom of what the side effects were. There is no way that it would happen. And those of us that who are believers, we must understand, you know. And those who are speaking on behalf of Muslims and on behalf of Christians and on behalf of Hindus, because they are Christians, they are Muslims, and they are Hindus who do not feel that they should be wearing a mask and distancing themselves. So when one goes out there on behalf of them and speak, let it be known they're speaking for themselves. You see, they are speaking for themselves. Like I said, I don't know who has spoken out on behalf of the Muslims, but whoever it is has never been here. For the mainstream Muslims in this country, the mainstream, those who we hear about all the time, in 30 years, they have never visited this mosque. So you find, brothers and sisters, you know, in the month of Ramadan, you know, one of the worst things that you can do in the month of Ramadan is to discriminate. How can you don't love your brother and fast? How can you hate your sister and fast? How can you discriminate racially against your brothers and sisters and say that you are fasting and keeping Ramadan? Huh? You hypocrite. You ingratitude. That's what you are. People who are like that are ingrates. And that is why Allah has said, don't worry with them, but behold your colors and your cultures. You behold it. You stick steadfast to your colors and to your cultures. Stick to it. That is what Allah is saying. And that's what the Prophet Muhammad had to do. Because he was a man of color. He wasn't no white man. He was a man of color. And he was persecuted because of his color. And he had to run and hide many times until he went into the cave and decided, you know, that God has to show him the way. And he was shown the way. 65 wars, brothers and sisters, the Prophet Muhammad had to fight. 65. You think it is easy? You think it's easy? It's not easy. It's not easy when you have been tuned into and inspired by Almighty God to see certain things that were written and to realize how these things were interpreted, and note to ourselves that our God, even though they say it's from God, but my God will never say that in that way, or will never do that. We know it. There are those of us who know clearly that some of the things that we read and some of the things that are preached in the name of God is not from God. We know it. But many of us are afraid to open our mouths and speak. But in this month of Ramadan, the truth, like with the coronavirus, no vaccine, no distancing, and I'm saying this in the name of Almighty God, no vaccine, no distancing, no sanitizing is going to prevent the COVID-19 from destroying the human race. Only the truth. Only the truth. We need the truth. When the truth is there about what this vaccine, what this virus is. What is the source of it? When we have that truth, COVID-19 will cease to exist. Only and only then. 10 vaccines and you still can't find one. 2 of them have already said that they can't work anymore because the 2 of them have been causing blood clots. So we still have 8 out there. And then we heard about 2 of them mixing with each other. Man, look, brothers and sisters, don't you see that we are dealing with a people that are confused and that don't know what they're doing, don't know which direction they're going into, and trying to confuse us as well? That's the situation that we continue to face all the time. So I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm telling you I'm not doing it. But I'm not preventing you if that's what you feel, if your pastor tells you that you should do it, or if your pandit tells you you should do it, or your imam tells you and you feel that you should do it, go ahead. But the negative side of this thing, for me, it's more than the positive. And you know what's going to happen? What I see happening is that they're going to get people to take the vaccine. And when you don't take the vaccine and the virus continues, they're going to say it's the people who did not take the vaccine that is making the virus continue. That's what they're going to do. You hear about the different streams. There's a new stream and a new stream and a more dangerous stream. We haven't got rid of the first stream of COVID yet, and we have about 3 more streams. It is very confusing, very, very confusing. But we know that it's not from Allah, it's not from Almighty God, and that we have to stay steadfast and know that God knows best, and He's going to put an end. An end is going to come to it, because they are going to be forced to speak the truth. There's too much research being done and too much being found out for them to hide it. The truth will come out, and when the truth comes out, no more COVID will be there, because the truth is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Assalamu alaikum, as I wish my brothers a happy Nawrat and blessed Ramadan.
Breaking down is a whole big runaround. A lot of talk is what goes on, while the world is left to mourn. Starvation taking toll, weapons out of control, the atmosphere is cold, so cold. Oh Lord, tell me, what about love thy neighbor? Tell me, what about he ain't heavy, he's my brother. Nobody cares a damn anymore. All they got on their mind is war, war. Tell me, what about equal rights and justice? Tell me, what about peace and happiness? Hey! They're making new laws every